A Hindu is someone who finds their god in a stone idol, who observes a 9-day fast for a goddess, and on the 9th day reluctantly immerses the idol in a river. This is the same Hindu who celebrates the slaying of a demon by a man. Their enthusiasm doesn't end there, as they go on to worship the sun god and fly kites during Uttarayan, then prepare for the festival of a yogi a few months later, knowing full well the importance of these practices. Soon after, this Hindu joyfully immerses themselves in the colors of love during a festival celebrating a divine lover's love story. And just when this all seems to end, they celebrate the birth of a small child, and a few days later they get drenched in the color of that child's milk festival. This same Hindu would even adopt the religious site of another faith as their own. But why do they switch gods every month? Is one god not enough to fulfill their wishes? Can the concept of a single supreme Brahman not bring peace to our minds? And what would happen if a Hindu only worshipped one god? Would the others get angry? Don't worry, there's nothing to be tense about. On SoulQuest, we'll explain why this happens. Let me tell you, Sanatana Dharma is not a centralized religion, meaning no one figure holds special importance. Instead, various classes of people have carried this religion forward. But until we understand who is at the center of Hinduism and what its core philosophy is, neither we nor followers of other religions will truly comprehend this concept. Why do we need so many gods? According to Swami Vivekananda, religion has 3 parts. The first part is philosophy, the second is mythology, stories, and the third and final part is ritual, culture, or worship. Any religion is made up of these 3 components. Among these 3, the most important is philosophy, which remains at the center and cannot be tampered with. The essence of any religion is based on its philosophy. Let me explain this with an example. Think of Tata as a company that does not compromise on safety. Doesn't compromise on its security features because that's the philosophy that no one in any religion can alter, nor can it be changed. Now, the second part of religion is mythology. This is the form of philosophy. Imagine if your religion says you should be truthful, but you're struggling to be truthful. That's where stories and myths come in to teach you how to be truthful. Stories are the reflection of your religion's philosophy. In Hinduism, the concept of reincarnation is meaningful because philosophy is the core principle. That's why you'll see or hear that in earlier times, stories about kings, sages, and wars were told to convey complex philosophies in an understandable way. Now let's talk about the third part, which is ritual or worship. This largely depends on social and geographical factors, like what clothes you wear during worship or how you perform certain rituals. That's why even within Hinduism, you'll see that worship practices vary slightly from one person to another, even if the difference is minor. So now you know about the 3 parts of religion, but among these, philosophy is the most important. Let's dive deeper into the philosophy of Sanatana Dharma. As you might know, according to the Vedas, Hinduism has 6 schools of philosophy called darshanas: Samkhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. These 6 philosophies are ways to understand the universe. Among these, the Samkhya and Vedanta philosophies have had the most significant influence on Hinduism. The Samkhya philosophy is also reflected in the Bhagavad Gita, while Vedanta was extensively propagated by Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, and Vallabhacharya. In addition to these, there are other important principles in Sanatana Dharma, such as the law of karma and the concept of reincarnation. These are the 4 pillars of Sanatana Dharma. Everything we do stems from these philosophies. If you understand these 4, you'll have answers to all your questions. The names of these 4 pillars are Samkhya, Vedanta, Karma, and Reincarnation. Samkhya speaks of the universe's philosophy, where nature is described as having 3 qualities: sattva, rajas, and tamas. These 3 qualities are the foundation of Sanatana Dharma and are also mentioned by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. The second is Vedanta, which presents the concept of one God, a supreme Brahman. This concept is central to various sects, whether Shaiva, Vaishnava, or Shakta. They all maintain the idea of a single supreme being at their core. Now, how each sect expresses this varies. The third principle is the law of karma, which states that your actions determine your fate. As Krishna emphasized in the Bhagavad Gita, action plays a vital role in Hinduism. Fourth principle is reincarnation. All of us are trapped in the cycle of birth and death until we attain moksha. So, these 4 principles are the essence of Hinduism. If you examine these 4 principles from a broader perspective, you'll see that they all lead to the same conclusion because they are threads that bind different sects together. All Hindus are bound by the concept of Supreme Brahman and its core philosophy. The only difference is in how these sects express this philosophy. In Vaishnavism, the Supreme Brahman is seen as Vishnu, while in Shaivism it takes the form of Shiva, and in Shaktism it appears as Adi Shakti. You'll notice that the concept of Vedanta is present in every sect, and along with it the 3 qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, can be found in all sections. These qualities emanate from Vishnu in Vaishnavism, from Shiva in Shaivism, and from Adi Shakti in Shaktism. These 3 qualities don't compete with one another but are seen as the powers of the Supreme Brahman, which, despite being one, are perceived differently by different sects. Concept of karma and reincarnation is also accepted by all sects, and the idea of avatars is particularly emphasized in Vaishnavism and Shaivism. So, when the world sees Hindus as polytheists, it's not that they believe in many gods. Rather, they worship different forms of the same god according to their needs and circumstances. These forms, whether Durga, Kalbhairav or Hanuman, all lead to the same Supreme Brahman. If any Hindu worships 2 different gods in the same month, they are actually worshipping the same Supreme Brahman. There's nothing wrong with worshipping one god over another because, in essence, you're worshipping the same supreme deity. The debates over whether Vishnu is greater than Shiva or vice versa are pointless because, in the end, you're worshipping the same supreme entity. This supreme being has different forms, so there's no need for comparisons. You'll notice that the term Ishvar is used for the Supreme Brahman, not for Lord Ram or Lord Krishna. That's why you can worship whichever deity you prefer, and it won't be wrong because all gods eventually lead to Ishvar. So now you understand why Hindus worship so many deities. If you know of any interesting stories related to this, please share them in the comments below.